The hospital's patient management system discharged a man on January 15th who had been in the morgue for 11 days. The next of kin signature on the paperwork belonged to a woman who walked into the hospital lobby that morning, signed for his belongings, collected his filled prescription, and then walked directly into the framed mural on the west wall and disappeared. I watched the security footage frame by frame. The mural is solid drywall and brick on the other side. The wife had an alibi. She was at the funeral home all morning. I work in hospital admin. I process discharges. There is no door behind the mural. In January, the system processed a discharge for a patient who had been in the morgue for 11 days. His name was on the daily discharge report. His chart was marked "Discharged, home." His belongings had been signed out from the patient property room. His prescription had been filled at the hospital pharmacy. His follow-up appointment had been scheduled at a primary care clinic across town. The patient had died of a heart attack on January 4th. He had been pronounced in the ICU at 11:42 p.m. His body had been transferred to the morgue at 1 a.m. He had been there for 11 days while his family worked out the details of the funeral. On January 15th, the system discharged him. I noticed the discharge in my morning report. I assumed it was a clerical error. I went to the morgue to verify the body was still there. It was. I took a photo for my own records. I went back to my office and tried to reverse the discharge in the system. The system would not let me reverse it. Discharge complete. Patient signed out by next of kin. The next of kin field on the discharge form had a name I recognized. The patient's wife. She had signed for him at 8:14 a.m. that morning. I called her. I had to navigate around the question carefully. I asked her if she had been to the hospital that morning to sign any paperwork. She told me no. She had been at the funeral home all morning, working out arrangements. She had not been to the hospital since the day her husband died. I called the funeral home. They confirmed she had been there from 8 a.m. to noon. She could not have been at the hospital signing for him. I pulled the security camera footage from the patient property room where the next of kin would have signed for the belongings. I scrubbed to 8:14 a.m. on January 15th. The footage showed the property room empty for most of the recording. Then, at 8:14 a.m., a woman walked into the room. She was middle-aged. She was wearing a coat. She walked to the counter. The night clerk was the only other person in frame. The clerk slid a clipboard across the counter. The woman signed it. The clerk handed her a plastic bag with the patient's belongings. The woman walked out. I did not recognize the woman. I called the night clerk. She remembered the interaction. She said the woman had identified herself as the patient's wife. She said the woman had given the right name. She said she had not asked for ID because the system had pre-authorized the discharge and had her name on file. The clerk apologized and said it had seemed routine. I asked her to describe the woman. She said the woman had been quiet, polite, in her 60s, slightly stooped. The clerk said she had not really looked at her face. The lobby had been busy that morning. The clerk had been processing several discharges. The woman had been one of half a dozen. I went to the wall and looked at it carefully. I pressed my palm against the drywall. It was solid. The mural was the same mural that had been on the wall since the hospital had been renovated in 2014. There was no give. There was no seam. There was no service corridor or maintenance hatch in that part of the wall. I went back to the system and pulled up the patient's full file. His discharge was still marked complete. His follow-up appointment was scheduled. His prescription had been filled. The hospital pharmacy confirmed that someone had picked up the prescription. The same security cameras showed a woman matching the description, picking up the medication, signing for it, and walking back through the lobby. She did not exit through the main door. She walked into the same mural. The cameras showed her disappearing. The body in the morgue is still there. I checked yesterday. He's been signed out in the system, but his physical body has not moved. The funeral home has been calling because they cannot complete arrangements without an official release of the body. The body cannot be officially released because the system says he has already been discharged. The discharge cannot be reversed because the system says it was completed by next of kin. The next of kin cannot be the wife because the wife has an alibi. I have started to think the next of kin is whoever the system thinks should sign for him. The system has a flexible definition. The system has decided. 2 more discharges happened this week with the same pattern. 2 more patients, both deceased, signed out by next of kin who walked into the mural and disappeared. The bodies are still in the morgue. The discharges are complete in the system. I am not telling my supervisor about this anymore. I tried. He looked at me for a long time and then asked me to stop staying so late. But last night I was working late. I was in my office down the hall from the lobby, and at 8:14 p.m. I heard the front door of the property room open. I heard the clipboard slide across the counter. I heard a soft female voice say a name. The name was mine. I did not go to the property room. I did not check the security cameras. I went home. This morning the system shows my own discharge is processed. My belongings are signed out. My prescription has been filled. I do not have a prescription. I am not a patient. I am writing this from my office. My next of kin field has my mother's name in it. My mother died in 2019. I am going to stay at my desk for as long as the lights are on. I do not know who is coming to sign for me.